I'm not sure how many of you out there might remember this game from the PS3 and the PS Vita, but PlayStation All Stars was Sony's attempt to jump into the Battle Royale Smash Brothers clone type of game. It might have been the first Smash clone to exist, maybe. I could be wrong about that, but it was one that I believe had some potential, but it ultimately failed to succeed, and to the point where they just made the one entry, and that was that. Now we are now in kind of like a time period where we see multiple Smash clones out there. You have Brawlhalla, you have the Nickelodeon All Stars, I think is what they called it, or something like that. Then you got Multiverses, and I'm sure there's a couple other ones out there that exist as well. And there is some debate about whether or not these games are successful. Of course, they're not going to be as successful as Smash Brothers, considering how many games Smash Bros. Has released, how large their roster is for the last Smash Bros. Game. But I do know that the Nickelodeon one did a little while ago add voice acting, and the Multiverses already had it, but it was free to play, just like Brawlhalla. And of course, Multiverses does have potential for a lot more interesting characters like the Mortal Kombat roster, the Cartoon Network roster. I think Warner Bros. Also technically owns Justice League, so they already have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Harley Quinn, and they just got Black Adam. So, with that in mind, I think now is a good time for PlayStation to maybe give it another shot at this type of game. And I wanted to show you two different things here. I wanted to show you the original roster from the game that was released back on PS3, which only had about 20 characters. And after I go through that roster, I'm going to go through a new roster that I created using a bunch of characters from various Sony titles and Sony exclusives. I did primarily include majority of the main characters and not so much of secondary characters. But if there are characters from these franchises that I didn't mention that you think would be cool, let me know in the comments below. So let me start here with the original roster. And I did put it in the order that IGN had it on their website. So the first character was Big Daddy from the Bioshock games. I don't remember this being a PlayStation exclusive. I think it was on PS3 and 360. But for some reason, Big Daddy made it into the cut. So, he's there for whatever reason. Cole McGrath, of course, the character from Infamous. They did put Good Cole and Evil Cole. I guess that because it is the Infamous 2 version of Cole, he does have a different set of moves. I believe the good one for this game, if they did it right, would have had the ice powers with the electricity, whereas the Evil Cole would have had the ash, fire, whatever powers with the red lightning. Then you have this Colonel, I forgot his name because I didn't play Killzone, but Colonel Rodeo, I think his name was. Killzone character. I only played one Killzone game, like campaign wise, which is the one on PS4, and I barely even played it, so I don't know anything about Killzone. So yeah, there's other Killzone characters, sure. Dante from Devil May Cry. The original All Stars had DMC Devil May Cry Dante, the emote Dante. I want classic white hair Capcom Dante, whether it's DMC 1 Dante or 3 or 4 or maybe even 5. Just give me one of the one of the Capcom Dantes, not that Ninja Theory Dante, and that would be perfect. Fat Princess, I don't know what type of game it was, but that is a PlayStation title from back on. Might have been a PS3 indie game, I think. So you do have the Fat Princess. You have, I guess I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, Hitachi from Tekken. I think Tekken originally was on PS1 Classic. Again, put another Tekken character or two, maybe, I don't know, but he was in the game. Jak and Daxter, of course, one of the best PlayStation exclusive franchises in my opinion. I'm still waiting for Jak 4 Naughty Dog, but Jak and Daxter, really good team up. Kratos, ever since God of War 3 came out, they've been using God of War 3 Kratos for certain games. It was God of War 3 Kratos in this game, and he was also in Mortal Kombat 9 for PS3. They haven't been really used God of War 1 or 2 Kratos. It's mostly been the God of War 3 Kratos, which is debatable on how good he is. Yeah, he would have the Naming Cestus, which is cool. But his blades were kind of whack and his bow and arrow was in it. But, Kratos from God of War, so of course. Naruto from the Heavenly Sword game. I actually did play that game at one point. I didn't really put too much into it. I just thought, that's pretty much all I can say about it. It's like, Nathan Drake. The game did have Nathan Drake from the first 3 Uncharted games. I want to say it was primarily the Uncharted 2 Drake, maybe. But this one could possibly use the Uncharted 4 model of Nathan Drake if they, brought back the series. But, Nathan Drake, either way, was a character. Parappa the Rapper, another one of those, like, I think it was like a music rhythm game or something like that. But he made it to the cut. Raiden from Metal Gear. I never played a single Metal Gear game. I think I played whatever the last one was, the one in the desert. I played it very briefly, and I'm not a Metal Gear fan, so it wasn't about whether or not the game was good or bad. I'm just not a fan. I tried it, and I just didn't care for it. But Raiden, I didn't play that one, and he made the cut, so put Raiden back in it, I guess. Ratchet and Clank, of course, another Sony exclusive, Insomniac exclusive. Ratchet and Clank was in the game, and it was a good opportunity to have Ratchet and Clank versus Jak and Daxter, especially if you play Jak 2 and you're exploring the city. There's a giant billboard for Ratchet and Clank, so that's pretty cool. Cool Easter egg, type of thing. Sackboy, of course, from Little Big Planet, and now Sackboy's Big Adventure, which is a PS5 launch exclusive. And then you had Sir Francis from Medieval. Those were like very classic PS1 games. They recently did a PS4 remastered, which apparently wasn't that good. I didn't play it. I just saw the reviews. I heard it was really bad. So, either way, he was in the game. Sly Cooper, it was one of, I guess, Sucker Punch's first mascot before Infamous games. Sly Cooper hasn't been seen since the PS3 remastered of the PS2 games. So, put him back in the new All-Stars 2 or whatever you want to call it. Spike from Ape Escape, PS1 classic game, was in All-Stars. And then you had Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal. And I don't know this cat dude, Toro something. I don't know where he's from, but I think he's like a kung fu cat or whatever. So this was the roster from the original All-Stars game, the 20 characters. And like I said, there is major potential for a sequel game with a much larger roster because there are so many other characters from both newer PlayStation exclusives and older exclusives that didn't make the cut. Some of these you may not agree with me based on licensing and stuff like that, but either way, we're going to look into those right now. So with the original 20 here, I did put on the bottom here Knack from, Knack, the video game. That was a PS4 exclusive launch title. I didn't really play it. It wasn't for me, but we have Knack, so that's a new character that we can add to that game. Now, two characters that I wanted to put in here because they were PS1 exclusives at the time, and I'm surprised they didn't make the cut. But Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot, they both had their trilogy remasters, and they were both PS1 exclusive characters. So I think we need to get these guys into a sequel for All-Stars. Lara Croft, she was a PS1 exclusive back in the day. The original Tomb Raider games were PS1 exclusives. So I think you could put either classic Lara Croft or even new reboot Lara Croft in the game. That would be pretty cool to see for that sequel. Chloe Frazer, she's a character from the Uncharted franchise, if you didn't know, and she is playable in the shorter game Lost Legacy. So because she was now playable in that game, I would like to see her make it into the sequel of PlayStation All-Stars. Delsin Rowe and Fetch, both from Infamous Second Son, both were playable. Delsin in his main game and Fetch in the shorter game. Very different playstyles from Cole McGrath and PlayStation exclusives, so it'd be cool to see these two. Delsin being able to switch between his various powers, whereas Fetch would only have her one speed and light power, but of course she'll probably do it a lot better than Delsin would do it, just to have that difference in character. Maybe do evil Delsin and good Delsin, just like Cole McGrath, just to have that extra character slot. Possibly to put that in there. Cloud and Sephiroth. These two were PS1 exclusive characters, and then they got into the Final Fantasy Remake, which is still currently exclusive to PlayStation. Cloud and Sephiroth would be a really cool team up. Yes, they do exist in Smash Brothers. I understand that, but where did they exist originally before Smash Brothers? They were on PlayStation. These are PlayStation characters, so I think it'd be cool to see these guys make an appearance in All Stars and just have a kick-ass fight. That'd be really dope in my opinion. This one is a bit weird. Journey was like an indie game on PlayStation 4, I think. I think it's just about you going on this journey to like the end of your life or something like that. I don't really remember. I didn't really get into it. Don't know what the character would do in combat, but just an idea to just, I guess, to fill up the roster, because you have characters in Smash like Pikmin, and I can't think of anyone else who's really bad. But Pikmin is kind of like a dumb idea or whatever. So what was it, Malamar? Is that his name from Pikmin? So I guess this would just be to fill up that roster slot for the game. Kana from Bridge of Spirits, new PlayStation IP, new indie game for PS5 and 4. I still haven't played it yet. I got it, but I was gonna play it. I might play it tonight. But that's a new character that we can put into the game. She does have her spirit things to help her out. She has the staff. So again, just more characters we can add to this roster. Joel and Ellie from The Last of Us. Now, this one could be either both of them as a set or play as them individually because Ellie does have her own campaign for Last of Us 2 where she's older, more mature, much more of a badass. So we could do both of them together or we can have them separate for one character slot for Joel, one for Ellie. I think I'll be fine either way, but these are PlayStation characters and we can put them in there. Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima. Don't know what more I can say about that. It's a badass samurai on PlayStation who has his swords and he has 4 different fighting styles. He gets a grapple hook or whatever you want to call it, like a grapple dagger thing or whatever. Bow and arrows, smoke bombs, shurikens, you name it. He's probably got it. Jin Sakai would be really cool to see in that game. Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. It's a bit of also a newer PlayStation exclusive character, but she has the bow and arrow. She can hack machines. She can craft different items. So Aloy would be awesome to see in this game as a character to play as in the All-Star sequel. This one, these 3 actually might be a bit of a stretch, but not really. Well, one of them more than the other 2, but they are on PlayStation exclusively, and of course now on PC. But Spider-Man and Miles Morales, you cannot tell me otherwise. Like these games are owned by Insomniac and they're owned by Sony, so we could see a battle royale with Spider-Man and Miles Morales, and I don't know what is going to be better than that, honestly. The third one being kind of a stretch is Iron Man because there was a exclusive Iron Man VR game for PlayStation. And yes, there is another Iron Man game in the works right now, but it is going to be multi-platform because it is EA, so I don't think it's going to be exclusive. But a bit of a stretch, maybe not have him in there, but Iron Man does have a PS4 exclusive game, so we could put Iron Man. Kratos and Atreus. This is another example of would I take them as a set or would I do Kratos from reboot God of War 2018 on his own, and then God of War Ragnarok Atreus on his own because he is taller, older, a bit better at combat. But I think it'll be weird to see them fight separately, even though you want to see Kratos on his own. We will already still have God of War 3 Kratos, and this one could be Kratos and Atreus teamed up slot type of thing. So that would be pretty cool to get this version of Kratos in the game as well. The character from Returnal, I don't remember her name. I think it was like Celine or Selena, something like that. Selena, something like that. I don't remember. But Returnal, I barely played it. I recently tried it with a friend. We are trying to get a schedule to just keep playing as often as we can. We are enjoying what we played so far, visually, graphically, gameplay wise, just having that time together. We are having fun with Returnal. It has gotten much better since the updates and all the other problems has been fixed for the most part. She would be a really cool character with her weapons, her upgrades. She could run fast as fuck. Like she could run. This woman got like speed. She runs. She double jumps. I think she unlocks like a laser sword thing. So she'll be really cool to play as in a battle royale all-star game. This one I don't really care too much about. The character from Bloodborne, PS4 exclusive. I don't really care about Bloodborne. If you're a Souls fan, then that's fine. I don't care, but a lot of people do, so you can put them in the game. And then the last one I had so far is something related to Demon Souls, whether it's like a knight character or some other demon or something. I don't know. I only just started Demon Souls. I barely got into it. I never played it back in the day. I only played one Dark Souls game, which I think was the third one I played. I played the first one for about 30 minutes or so, and the third one I played for like 10-15 minutes. I just didn't really care for it. I do want to try to get back into it. That's why I'm playing Demon Souls now. I want to get into it and see if I enjoy it. Visually, it's fucking amazing on PS5, but I want to see if I can enjoy it more. but that would be an interesting thing to add on to it as well. So with that in mind, I think that was a total of about 40 characters, roughly, give or take. 54, yeah, almost 40 characters roughly. And that's not even the most of. That's not even all of it. I'm sure there's other characters that I'm forgetting about. Maybe some other indie exclusives that I wasn't aware of, or taking other characters from these franchises that you can include in the game. Like with Spyro the Dragon, you can include, I can't remember the name of the cheetah guy, but he could be added to the game. Any other character from the Crash Bandicoot series, any other Tekken character, maybe Thor from Ragnarok could make it into the game, or Baldur from God of War 2018. You can maybe include Tess from Last of Us. As for Spider-Man, maybe the Prowler, maybe not. So there's potential. There's a lot of other characters from these universes that may not be the main character, but they could fit into this sequel almost perfectly. And I really hope that we do get to see some type of sequel to Return of this franchise, if you want to call it that. Because even though the first one was horrible and didn't do that great, there's potential. I believe there's potential. And if you agree with this roster as well as some additions to it, let me know in the comments. But do you think that I'm kind of out of my mind here trying to get a sequel to this game? Or do you think there's room for this to be a competitive battle royale fighter like Smash Bros. And Multiverses and the Nickelodeon one and Brawlhalla? And I think Brawlout was another one. I never heard of it. I just saw a joke about it recently. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, this roster update type of thing. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.